old second gear roll. So here we go. See how she sounds. Alright everyone, I just filled up with coolant. I got bleed the coolant system, so we're going to let it run, heat up, get full operating temperature, make sure everything seems alright. Alright, we are in the car. We're doing some miles on it. Everything's running good. Heat cycled it a few times in the driveway, but we are going out. Brought the laptop. We're going to start turning her up and getting her dialed in. So stay tuned for some pulls. And I'm going to meet up with a buddy. He's going to help me out with the Dimemod. I got the Dimemod software. Everything's ready for the speed density conversion. Right now I'm driving it on the map because I do have the map. That's what was on the car before. I'm trying to stay out of boost for right now, but yeah, we'll see what get it all converted over and we'll go from there. Well, coming back from my buddy helping me get the Dimemod tune in. We are currently running on speed density, but there is a big hiccup. Is my radium fuel system. I'm going to go more in depth into it, but I noticed on my other turbo that the 20G turbo setup how I had it, there was some weird oscillations that I could see in the wideband when I would log the car, and that's definitely not good. And we're seeing those same oscillations on the tune in this in the volumetric efficiency map. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and address the rails that I wanted to but haven't yet. Tomorrow's Sunday. I got some free time. I'm gonna go ahead and try to reroute some stuff in the more traditional manner, not like this radium setup. I'll make another video showing the design and why you probably shouldn't run this in your car, because it's caused me issues before tuning my car, and I've always seen this issue and didn't really pay it too much of mind, but it's definitely a problem, and nobody wants their air fuel mixture to be changing from one day to the next or one pull to the next, as much as, you know, half to full AFR. So we're going to go ahead and try to address that, and we'll see if it corrects the issue. Alright, so I'm out here, been reevaluating this radium setup. This is their parallel system. Basically converts it into like a deadhead system, but it does have the return, but your fuel pressure comes in and returns here and basically pressurizes your two rails. I got this system because it's one of the cleanest ones as far as less fuel lines, but I'm having a lot of issues with oscillation and whatnot. So basically one rail, this is the second rail, both are the pressures. They come into the rails, and as you can see, the rail has a cap here, so it's just fed from the back. The other line goes obviously over to the other rail, and that one is capped off as well. And even though I like the way it looks in here with less lines, I'm getting some weird fluctuations on fuel pressure, and I'm going to go ahead and change it. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to come straight out the feed from the factory line, and we're not going into the rail. The feed pressure is going to come in back here, Y, come to each rail on the front, and the two lines that I already have designed coming here are going to be returns now, and it'll come back into this and feed through the factory return, and that should take care of all of our issues with what we're seeing. While I'm doing that, I am going to toss in the flex fuel sensor, which I haven't put in yet, but I'm going to toss it in on this. Technically it's a feed line. It's pressurized as well, but it's on the return side. So this rail is going to be returning fuel here. This rail is going to be returning fuel here. So it shouldn't be a restriction even if I put it on the actual feed line coming in. But just to play it safe, I can just toss it on this one side, and when the both returns come in, it's still pressurized because it's before the regulator, so I don't have to worry about under full throttle getting any erratic readings when the return line virtually probably drops out to no fuel being returned. So we'll keep it on the pressurized side, but it's not going to be on the feed. So the fuel pressure is going to come in full force on both sides with no restriction, and the ethanol sensor will be there. And what I am going to do is I have the mechanical gauge here. I have another adapter. I'm going to go ahead and add it onto this side, and I'm going to put my fuel pressure sensor on there so that I can actually log it. And that's going to be hooked up to one of the TGVs, more than likely this side here, the driver's side. And when I do the flex fuel sensor, I will plug it into the passenger side TGV. And I have the option on the software to go ahead and set that up so that it automatically will log and convert the numbers over for me. So, but that's what I'm going to be working on. A little hiccup, but it is what it is. It's not too big of a deal to change this fuel setup. So, all right. So to start off, I'm not going to do all the fuel lines right now. I got to get a couple connectors, but I do have the fuel pressure sensor. I have this adapter, which is essentially the same adapter here for the mechanical gauge. And I'm going to go ahead and insert this one here to actually get a digital readout that I can read on my logs. And we'll check it right after I get this on there. It's kind of late. I'm not going to start the car right now, but I can at least key on and see if we get the live readings of fuel pressure. And I'm going to plug it into the TGV on this side. So I got to find the wire that I tucked away, and I'll plug in this little pigtail, and we'll go from there. All right, so we got the fuel pressure right there, basically the same connector as that one. So we're going to log some fuel pressure. I'm going to be driving this car all week. Right now it's Sunday night, but then I got the harness right there, comes back, and this is just temporary, but I just got it zip tied right here. It's plugged into the TGV. I want to log it and see what kind of fuel pressure is bouncing around and whatnot. So like I said, I got to buy a couple more pieces, but next weekend I should be able to convert this fuel system over. Should have the flex fuel sensor in there ready to go, and actually have it set up for flex fuel. So right now I'm just going to put the charge pipe back on, grab my laptop, and let's see if I can log some fuel pressure. And also got to check and make sure there's no fuel leaks right there. So I'm going to prime it up a couple times and make sure nothing's dropping or dripping or anything like that. All right, we're in the car. I just primed it up. As you can see on my log, it's registering fuel pressure. I have my definition set up where I have full control over where I want to plug something in. So I got a TGV. I can either have it auto calculate the ethanol percentage, and it'll read out live percentage, just a traditional voltage, or on this one I selected fuel pressure. So I can do it on both sides. I have access to switch, so whatever I want to plug the sensors in, I can set it up to do that. And then I also have my rear O2. Where are we at? Right here. So my rear O2, I did the same thing. I have my wideband set up, so if I click over to wideband, it'll read out an actual AFR right now. So yeah. So yeah, normal 4.3 voltage is what it's supposed to be reading off of, and that's the input off of the AEM wideband. So, but it's a lot easier on the logs and in live mode to just read the actual wideband. So that's how I set up my ROM Raider logger, is to be able to watch that stuff live. So now we are set up to log fuel pressure. So we'll see if the issues we're having is fuel pressure related, because more than likely that is the issue. So we'll go ahead and rekey it on so you can see the fuel pressure jump up. So it bleeds off. Radium says that the fuel pressure regulator will bleed off pressure. If you know anything about this with the radium fuel pressure regulator, is it normal to bleed off that fast? It seems like it could be an issue, but it's worked fine for now, but that may be part of the reason why it's oscillating. I have real bad fuel line knock that you can hear when the car is idling. Definitely louder on pump gas than E85, but I changed the orifice tube on the regulator that Radium wanted. Didn't help. I had emailed them directly. They had told me that I may need to put a fuel pulse dampener back in the system just to get it to not knock, but I think rerouting the fuel system is going to be a lot better than trying to keep this set up, because there's definitely a lot of pulsations in there. But we'll do one more. That's that fuel pressure, and it jumps to 42, but it starts bleeding off pretty quick. It's always done that since I installed this regulator. So yeah, but at least now we can log fuel pressure. So one more step in the right direction. All right, and I went ahead and put the speed density intake on since we're all switched over to speed density now. So now we are ready. Got the fuel pressure sensor in, got the charge pipe all back on. That's all good, no leaks. So I'm gonna be driving this to work, getting some more miles on it. I literally have driven probably about 300-400 miles since I got it running. So no leaks, no issues yet. So let's hope it stays that way, because I got a little bit of a drive to get out to Texas 2K, and you already know it's gonna be seen redline a lot. So let's hope I can put it through its paces right now and work out any kinks that pop up before I drive out. Guys, we're just doing a little driving around. I was trying to get that Dimemod software to work. I was having some issues where anything after 6,000 RPM, I could not add or do anything with the fueling. The vehicle was just running so straight down into the lean. I mean, it got down to like 13 AFR, which is too lean. I'm on pump gas right now. So after messing with it, checking things that I thought it might have been, I ended up flashing back my same tune that I've always had with that 20G turbo and putting the mass airflow back in, and lo and behold, the car is doing fine again. So I definitely still need to address the fuel rail setup, because I do have a lot of pulsation in the fuel lines, but my AFRs was tuned on the other map. Even though the fuel pressure was jumping around, I still had it in a fairly safe spot that I was comfortable with. So now that I'm on the Blausch 3.5, the other map is pretty good. I've done some full throttle pulls. We're just on wastegate pressure. It looks like, depending on the temperature, between 19 and 21 pounds. I don't have any duty cycle or anything in the map right now. We're just rolling around trying to make sure we get all our fueling dialed in. But yeah, as of right now, it's definitely moving pretty good. Right now I'm just scaling the mass airflow. Everything's looking pretty right. I just got to pull a little bit from idle, so I'm pretty rich at idle. But yeah, I went through, checked my fuel pressure, checked all this stuff to figure out why the Dimemod software was having an issue. So my last resort was to flash everything back to a mass airflow, and which it's on now. As you see, I'm driving around, and everything is working the way it's control or anything like that. I was just trying to get the fueling dialed in, but everything seemed to work fine until you got to 6,000 RPM, and no matter what I did on the VE table, the vehicle just would not respond. And obviously the vehicle is running lean. Can't have that, especially trying to make 500 wheel. The last thing you want is to have no control over your fueling. So we're back on the mass airflow, and I know I was somewhere in that 450, 480 wheel horsepower range, I think, on that 20G turbo. I don't know, I never dynoed it, but this turbo is definitely more than capable for 500. So yeah, we're just doing a cruise, trying to waste some of this 93 that I have. I'm comfortable enough now with the way it's running on this map that I can just jump straight over into my E85 map, and I might just be driving around on that map. I don't really want to mess with the Dimemod when I only have a few weeks left until Texas 2K. I'm more than comfortable. I drove on this mass airflow map for over a year, so since last Texas 2k'23, so I'd feel more comfortable just leaving this map on and fine-tuning what I need to fine-tune to figure out where I'm going to leave the car at. I don't know how many pounds I'm going to be at, but probably not much more than 26 to 28, somewhere in that ballpark. Alright, welcome back. So we're going to do a little pull right here. I'm going to go ahead and log this just to see how we are. We'll do a little third gear, 25, and we're going to roll into it. And we're in. Alright. That felt pretty good. 21.6 pounds on the boost gauge. Let's see, we got no knock. Good on that. Map sensor showed 21.6 as well. Yeah, 63% duty cycle right there. And what we run up to? 7,300 RPM. So, seemed good, seemed clean. So, yeah, not bad, not bad. It's just base boost. I'll look at those logs when I get home later. That's moving pretty good. I think on E85, this thing should be a beast with just on the boost that it's on right now, 21.6. Because on this 93, it's moving pretty good. So yeah, knock's looking good. Everything's looking good right now. And for the sake of science, we're gonna go to do another pull. Let me log it real quick. Alright, log is going. We'll do third again. Slow it down, right around 25. And here we go. to see how it goes through the gears, but do a little second gear roll. So here we go. See how she sounds. Yeah, she definitely gets up.